Yeah, good.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so remember when we talked about social, right? Socialisation?
Yes, I remember.
There's different theories on this, but this is mine. Okay, and again, you got to get to know your dog. Alright, so if you have a pup, and this is going to be super important, okay? We have this thing with dogs that we call the hierarchy of needs. Hierarchy, I can't spell, but that's okay.
We've got that in psychology too. Is it Maslow?
That's right.
Is it Maslow?
That's it. So, I didn't even know his name was Abraham. Did you know that? Abraham Maslow? I didn't know that.
He actually stole it from a person of colour who created it. So there's like a racist
like
history to it, yeah. So it actually wasn't his idea, but he got all the
he took the credit?
Took the credit because he was a white man.
I can't trust all these
I know.
scientists and stuff. No,
Cancel culture didn't exist back then.
I don't care, to be honest. Like, I get it, like we all want credit, understand, whatever. Anyway.
So let's use it for what we need it to.
Let's just use this for now, right? Anyway, dogs are a bit simpler. Okay, first level is safety. Ooh, safety. Can't spell. I'm tired. Okay. So safety is number one. Number two is comfort. And number three is acquisition. Another word I can't spell. I don't know. Because I hear all these things and they sound good. And I'm like, but how do I spell them?
I'm the opposite. I've read words and I know how to spell them, but I don't know how to pronounce them.
I have that too.
Oh,
there are some words I'm like, that thing. Luckily, most people know what I'm talking about. So here's the thing. This is where we're a bit different with sometimes with people and their philosophy. So when you look for a trainer, you need to understand what their philosophies are. If they can't voice it to you, there might be a bit of a problem there. But if your philosophies are very similar, you should be fine. Safety is where the dog, so if a dog goes into a new environment or something new enters their environment, they need to assess. Okay, and this is about independence and being street smart and all that stuff that people talk about for humans.
Okay.
Dogs use their senses, nose, eyes, ears, to see, is there a bear that's going to eat me or not? Or is it too hot? I don't know, right? So for me, sniffing is a very important activity. Okay. I allow my dogs to sniff. To a degree. Doesn't mean I let them walk up to a snake. That's not what I do. But for me, it's so important to let them assess whether or not they're safe.
With their own skills.
Especially when they hit that fear period.
Yeah.
Do you remember when it was?
14 to 16 weeks.
Yay! You got it.
I told you I'm going to be a star pupil.
That's it. So you'll notice if you are focusing a lot with dogs focusing on you, because a lot of people will work on engagement straight away. That's nice if you're doing sport and if you're in a ring and all that sort of stuff. It's not always applicable to real life. Yeah, okay. Especially when you're in new places, because the dog's going to go, I need to assess this first.
Yeah. Okay.
Some point in time, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's very important. That's why I like to let my dog sniff.
Okay.
Okay. The next thing is comfort. Comfort is all about, am I comfortable? So some dogs it could be, what's the temperature? Some dogs it could be, I'm thirsty, I want a drink. I don't know. Acquisition is all about drive.
Okay, I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, and it's what they want. So if I teach you one thing today, if out of all the lessons we do, you take one thing away, and that is dogs are selfish creatures and they do what they want for themselves, not for love. However, having said that, sometimes what the dog wants and what you want is very similar, and then it looks like they do it for you. And if that's what you think, brilliant, just keep doing it, it's fine. It's when it's opposite that people are like, my dog's stubborn, doesn't like me, he's being a brat. And I'm like, no, he's doing what he wants because he has needs. Yeah, he's attention seeking, Okay. So, what I just want to mention, sometimes what confuses people, and this is where you need to get to know, right? What kind of stuff makes him feel unsafe? What kind of stuff makes him feel uncomfortable? We can work with this. Like, we can make resilience, right? Yeah. This one is teaching coping strategies or exit strategies, right? Like, don't run when a lion walks up to you. That's so hard. I don't know if you've ever seen an actual real lion. Never. They're very scary. Yeah, even if they just look like they're asleep, I'm still like, myself. Because if I run, I know their prey drive is going to activate. Yeah. Okay. So you've trained dogs to be around lions and not run? No. I've worked with different wild animals in Africa. So I've been very privileged. Yeah. Rhinos, not the same.
Rhinos, is it run? Run and get out of there. And...
No, climb a tree.
Okay.
A very strong tree. Or, I've never tried swimming. Anyway, doesn't matter. So the only time these two will ever change, right? Now listen to this, right? It's hilarious. I got this from my teacher. No dog will sleep in a thorn bush, right? At least not as far as I'm aware. I mean, there might be some weird dogs somewhere in the world. So that's an exception. But will they run through one to catch a rabbit? Yeah. So that's something that a lot of people don't realize. So you need to be aware of this, because you'll see at some point in time you're going to work with things where the dog's uncomfortable, and we use certain rewards to make them overcome it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we do.
So you tap into the acquisition drive,
yes,
the drives to get the behaviour you want. Yeah. Okay.
Because that's what do you think the food chains game's about? Yeah. I want you to walk over this. I don't want to walk over that. Why not? You'll be alright. No, I won't. Yeah. Okay, stuff like that. The other thing though is this one. Some people, it's like, no, safety will always override comfort. It just looks different. So I'm going to explain. Let's say we have our savannah, you know, it's very hot. Zebra decides, I'm going to go drink some water, and Uncle Charlie gets eaten by a crocodile. Now they say, oh my goodness, that watering hole is dangerous. My safety is at risk. Okay. But he's also thirsty. So here's the thing. For the first day or two, he might not go to the water, or he'll do it very cautiously. Anything that looks like a log, he bolts, right? Because he don't want to get eaten, because that's number one. But if the thirst becomes the thing that threatens his safety, that'll switch. Because he'll go, well, if I don't drink water, I'll die. Yeah. So I'd rather take that risk and maybe get caught like Uncle Charlie did. And that's something that a lot of people need to know. So for example, I know a dog that's not good with kids. Not at all. He doesn't feel uncomfortable, he feels unsafe. Why? I don't know, doesn't matter. Yeah. Why would I force a dog to confront his fear if I don't have to?
Is that a theoretical question, or is there a good answer to that where you would want to do that?
It depends on the person. Okay. So sometimes it's like your dog's your dog, and let him be. Not all dogs like other dogs. Sure, my dog tolerates, and I've always made sure she didn't get into an unsafe situation.
So if you had a house with no kids, you wouldn't need to do that, but if you had a house with kids, then you would want to override that.
Okay. And that's where you got to get to know your dog. Because sometimes with us dog trainers, we'll actually get to a point where like, this isn't a good match. Because the lifestyle is not working for the dog. There's too much compromise from the dog. Or there's too much compromise from the owner. Okay. So if someone's like, but I really want my dog, I really want to go out and walk my dog. And it's like, well, if you want to keep this dog because you're bonded, you need to make lifestyle changes. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense? Yeah. And that's where I say it comes from both ends of the leash. Like I say, coach both ends of the leash. Yeah. Obedience is a relationship. Okay. Yeah. The reason... Write that down. Go for it. And there's a reason why I'm mentioning this. Oh my goodness. I'm so sleepy. Isn't it? It's all under that socialization. Okay? So we have safety, comfort, and acquisition. Guess what? When we look at distractions, love distractions. Yep. Distractions, in my view, only comes in two categories. Number one, temptations. In the dog training world or training world, we call it a competing motivator. Like, oh, chocolate cake or brownie, you're conflicted. Yeah. Right? And B, threats.
So it's like with temptation, do I chase that little dog that
or do I listen to you?
Or do I have to get the treat? Yeah.
That's it.
To get the treat, get the
So again, you need to get to know your dog. Now here's the thing. If let's say you're doing a drop, just for argument's sake, right? Later, or a recall or anything like that.
Sorry, what's a drop?
Like laying down.
Oh, right.
Like laying down, Abel's on there. Yeah, or sit, or come to me, or go on your bed, or whatever. Well, you know, like an obedience command, right? If, and this is where my doggy dictionary comes in, it's a temptation. Temptation comes down to acquisition. Okay. And it could with comfort, but don't worry about that right now. So the way you can teach this is you can teach them to get it through you. Like if you cooperate, you can have it. Yes. But if I say leave it, there's always a chance that you might get it because you responded to leave it. So we create that gambler that we spoke about last time. Yeah. Okay, that's really cool. Yeah. I love that. that's what I use. So again, dogs who like the environment more than the food that you have, and people that don't have good relationships with their dogs, that's the best way to go. Because they're like, well, you're going to have to teach this dog that they can only access that external reward via doing what you want them to do. Lots of management. Threats is about safety.
Yes.
So if I put my dog in a drop and that drop doesn't keep my dog safe, he will never do it again. Yeah. And a lot of people struggle with that. So some people will say my dog is distracted because he wants something else, and I'll look at them and go, no, your dog's feeling threatened, or vice versa.
So you can tell by looking at the behaviour of the dog.
Takes a while, yeah. It's sometimes reading subtler signs, or getting to know the dog, or looking at the picture. So there's this really great thing. It's hard to see the picture when you are in the frame. That's why we have coaches. Yes. Okay. That's why I coach people. I don't tell them what to do. I just go like, I think. Yeah, okay. That's why I love videoing. So sometimes I'll video the dog and you, and I'll show you, and I'll go, what do you think? And you'll look at it and go, oh. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm sure it does. I'm terrified of being taped.
Yeah.
And scrutinised. It's the scrutinisation. So it was temptation and threat, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.